Okay, Service Innovation Class 4, Understanding Your Environment. First of all, what did we do last week? We looked at culture. We managed that according to Mathieu. We had the matrix 3 by 3, and we could see that we moved from tactical to cultural in terms of organizational intensity, customer service to service as a product, and to specificity. Great matrix to use to try and identify where your firm is and where parts of the organization are, which is what brings me into the next box, which shows you have a different expectation of service from each part within the organization. We also have a geographical expectations, what's normal within service in certain areas and what's not. And finally there we've got the solution side of the value proposition, the supplier side, showing the gain creators, the pain relievers and the products and services which need to match against the customer side. What are we going to look at today? First of all, job to be done, learn about customers' outcomes, learn about using the customer side of the value proposition, how we really can use that, and use some learnings in a case study. Watch the videos, really very useful, provide good input. Also, I recommend watching Ulrich's video, 60 minutes, long time, but I'd recommend that you invest it. Job to be done. We need to understand what the customer is doing. Ulrich doesn't like asking customers what they want because there's no decent way to do it. It's lacking clarity, it takes too much time, we're worrying about how to capture the data rather than collecting the right information. That's a real pain. Voice the customer, if you ask them they want it cheaper, faster, better, quicker. So often they're using the wrong language, which results in copycat thinking, too high a level, which is imprecise, or marketing-like benefits, which are often ambiguous. To get decent feedback, you really need to get to 30 to 40 feedbacks. Each focus group there counts as one feedback, or you might want to have individuals, you might want to survey, you might want to interview people. Let's have a look at job to be done to try and understand how we can apply this in a customer environment. So this is looking at a cut of wood. So plan the cut, adjust the saw, start the cut, complete the cut. Really we're trying to break the job down into very simple tasks. And then we've got supporting tasks. Maintain the saw, yeah, we have to maintain it, and we have to ensure safety. We don't want to cut our thumbs off. I think many of us could do this, but it's really trying to break it into the right phases and make sure that we've got the right supporting services in there. Let's move now to learn about customers' outcomes, and we're going to use the same example of the saw. Think about the formula, direction plus measure, outcome that's desired. Remember, application, every step in the overall process. So you may want to break it down more than 5. I recommend that you come up with 5 to start with, and then you go into each one in more detail. Can you do this? Really want you to think how you can do this. So think about one and minimize the kit that occurs when starting the saw. It's very specific. So really what we've got is we've got a bunch of these outcomes which are very important to the overall outcome, which is to cut a piece of wood. But we want to do it successfully. And we ask the customers then to say, or the user, the actor, to say how important it is for them. And then whether they're happy or not. Satisfaction. Very straightforward. From this we get an opportunity using his calculation. I prefer to plot it, I find it clearer. And then you can see whether it's underserved or overserved, or an opportunity. What we want to be is we want to be in the smart zone, which says it's served appropriately. Which brings me to the next graph. You can see the appropriately served box. If you're in there, that's good. If you're underserved, you want to serve it better, and if you're overserved, you want to cut the cost out, because it's not important for the customer there. It's not important for people. Very important to be able to take things out, because if they don't value it, it's just carrying a cost. So okay, so now let's think about the customer side of the value proposition. We've got the different things which are important for customers. Now let's bring them through and have a look at who the customer is. Who is the customer? What are they doing? What are they trying to achieve? So first of all, I always recommend mapping out the ecosystem. Great way to do it. You find out who all of the consumers here are, who all the actors are. And then we've really got to find out what is the real job that we're trying to do. Think about going back to cutting a piece of wood. I'm going to cut a piece of wood for you. That is a service. So think of it as a service. Then break it down into the steps. It needs to do this, 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 and this. Not easy. Remember the job mapping and identify where your business fits in so we can actually understand how it fits in to the overall task that the customer is doing. Once we've got that, we can fit them straight into the customer side of the value proposition. We just put them in very, very straightforwardly. Then we take the persona that we've created, the empathy maps, and we can create the pains and the gains, and we can get more understanding of them from that. We put them in, and very quickly we got the pains and the gains from the different actors in here. Now, why is that important? We're trying to satisfy as many actors as we can in a multi-actor environment, which is typical in service in an industrial B2B environment. So we need to have good experience for each of these people. We've got to deliver them something that helps them get their job done and get the overall job done. So really, if we can do this for 3, 4, 5 actors in there, we've probably then created a good definition of what is needed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to apply the learning in a case study. I want you to do this year for bicycle parking. Other years I've asked other examples. So 4 actors, look at the jobs to be done, create the outcomes which are important, map them out, plot them up, see whether you think they're being under or overserved, create some empathy maps for different actors. What's the customer value proposition look like on the customer side? Okay, closing them. Could you use job to be done? Do you understand why customer outcomes are important? Are you able to complete the customer side of the value proposition? And could you apply the learning in your particular case? Now you know how to assess customer jobs, the outcomes, and identify the real customer side of the value proposition that is needed in services. Thanks.